Yes, welcome all the subscribers and viewers. Today I'm very happy to have Dr. Rathin Nair, my good old childhood friend, my schoolmate. So, Dr. Rathin, nice connecting with you. Uh, he has done his graduation in computer science engineering from Model Engineering College, then master's and PhD in computer science in specialization, the research area of machine learning and computer vision at the University of Buffalo. So, welcome, Rathin. Yes.
Thanks, Hari. Good to
Yes,
talk to you.
So first of all, I would like to say that there is no much changes within his physical appearance. So, so coming to
Yeah.
the point, like today, all are behind this terminology or the subject like artificial intelligence. So you're into this domain.
Right.
So what is the future scope of this artificial intelligence?
So it like I think in current generation, when I look at AI, like I've been in AI for since 2011, 2012, when I started my graduate school and master's and PhD. And at that point, it was still a very unknown subject, although over the years it has evolved being part of it. But I think the breakthrough moment came when ChatGPT came over the last few months, actually within the last year, when then people started noticing. But if you look at uh, technology over the years, AI has always been part of it. It was just not obvious, or we didn't think about it as much, where people were still using information that was available or that you and I provide. They were using it to predict what the future will be, right? Like weather prediction was always there. That was one of the earliest problems that I studied when I was doing my PhD on can you predict based on the scenario situations, where the cloud is moving and things like that. Can you predict what the future weather would be? That was always there. We never
Yes.
thought of it as AI, but today it's in everyone's device, right? We as PhDs, we write papers. Today's generation of writing papers, you use ChatGPT, right? You take the same sentence and see how you can make it better by using ChatGPT, right? And that is where people think, oh, AI just came. No, it's been around, right? But then it's evolving, where self-driven cars are coming. I worked on fingerprint sensors through my PhD, through my work, sorry, within Qualcomm. I worked on the Samsung fingerprint sensors. That is something that is on everyone's hands, even in India, US, globally. So that is going to be part of our life moving forward, where everything, if we use it efficiently, it's going to be helpful for us. So that's where I see over the years that is coming. Now will it take over the world? I know that's a common question. I don't think so. Again, I'm no expert in that level, but I think as long as we have it in a controlled environment, it's not going to outlearn. I mean, all the AI that I've worked with still has its issues that humans can do better than that for to a certain limit.
Yes, naturally, as we all know, by doing a research or understanding or analyzing a problem, everywhere the first stage is a mathematical modeling. So in certain
Mhm.
cases, we are not able to generate a mathematical model. So in that case, whether AI is applicable, like what is the fundamental crust for AI? Like we are selling the machine learning algorithms. So everywhere
Mhm.
comes a mathematical foundation. So
Right.
what's your opinion regarding that?
Yeah. So all AI does is based on the data it has, it tries to fit, like what you said, a mathematical model to the data, right? So if you try to give it, few points in a vector space, if you think of it, all it's trying to do is, will a line give us a good classification? That's what it starts with. It'll first put a line and see if it can separate those, if we are talking about binary classification, where you're trying to classify 0 and 1, let's say, right? Then it says, okay, now we don't have 0 and 1. We want to classify 0, 1 to 10. Now it tries to figure out a curve that'll fit that in a way, where each of those values fall. And that's what all the machine learning involves. How you learn it and what sort of mathematical model you learn is what is evolving around the algorithms that you try, right? In terms of what approach you take and whatnot. So it's at the end of the day a mathematical model, right? It can be a deep learning model, or it can be a statistic model that we have. But at the end of the day, it's all a mathematical equation that helps us define it based on prior data, and then can we predict future information on it, and that's where you see how good is your model. Over the years, like I've worked on handwriting recognition. Today, it's evolved to a point where it can do really well. Whereas traditionally it was terrible in performance when it started back in 1940s or whatever.
So in the beginning, as you have mentioned, AI was already there. Now only we are going for this terminology, artificial intelligence. So coming into the picture, the robotics or the artificial like embedded system. Can you consider the robotics and embedded system or any of the other system where a processor or an intelligence is there can be related to an AI?
Yeah. So it at the end of the day, the operation that you perform, if it is based on prior data and you're able to predict future, that is where AI comes in, right? That's where you're training a machine, and that machine can be a sensor, like what you said, like for example, a fingerprint sensor that I was talking to you about. It's part of your mobile phone. You don't even see it. It's embedded into it, right? Was this a robot, which is a bigger device that you see, like today I think very common is a vacuum cleaner, right? Which does automatically go around your house and cleans it. That's a great application, and that what it learns is it looks at it, it has been prior told that if you hit a block, turn right, turn left, turn back. It has been trained to do that, but it doesn't know the exact dimensions of our room, or how long is our room and how long does it have to run to cover the entire house. That information is not fed. That it learns it as it starts running around. As it goes around, it can figure out, okay, where is the corner, and then based on the prior knowledge it has that it's supposed to turn right and left, it makes that. So in every device today you can do it. Even our phones today, when you talk to it, it learns how our voice is, right? Like all of us, like if you have a Siri, Apple Siri, or if you have Alexa with an Amazon, or even if you have Google, hey Google, how does it recognize your voice? Because it's training on your voice over, and they're using prior data, but then they're customizing it to your and my voice.
Yes. So computer vision, as your specialized area is computer vision. So we know that image processing is a subset of computer vision. So when it's coming to earlier, image processing was a separate domain, and we are having several algorithms basically from MATLAB, a lot of classification. So computer vision is coming. So now AI cameras are there. So what is the main role of this computer vision on a future perspective or future scope of this area?
Computer vision is everything that is today image based or video based is comes under computer vision, right? And what is video at the end of the day is multiple images that are stacked together, which is a continuous array of images is what a video is, right? So today everything with the processing power that we have, we can process multiple images at the same time, which enables us to process video. Maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, even though AI existed, the biggest challenge was, or the biggest bottleneck was the computing power. We didn't have resources that could do such complicated tasks. Right? Today, I have machines that can process millions of data within 24 hours. I know Google has even more, like they said, like 47 years of data or something that it can process in a day or something like that, like crazy amount of data, because the computational power is so strong. Now, with computer vision, everything that we see with starting from a phone to a self-driven car is computer vision driven, because they take that data or an image or a video and process it to say, what should be my next action? If it's a self-driven car, it's going to make that call that, should I stop? Should I turn right? Should I turn left? Is that a red light? Like if you drive Teslas, they today can detect red lights. That is just processing that image that it captures using those sensors to say, okay, that's a red light or a green light, and we should stop or we should go. That is what the era of computer vision is. And it's going to be more and more applicable today. I think some of Google's models can actually, if you take a picture and there is somebody in the background, it can actually auto remove it for you as if that person never existed in that image. that is part of image processing and computer vision, because it identifies what that person is. That is that. But there is also the AI part of it to say, hey, how would it look if that person wasn't there? And that image can look so real that you wouldn't believe it. And that's Google magic or something. That's what they call it. But that is the evolution that we are seeing currently. But I think self-driven cars is going to be the biggest application, if that we'll see over the next decade or 2 decades, which I think will be very helpful for all of us to avoid accidents and stuff, where if we can have some support.
Then the another area to be like the medical area, the applications on the medical area. Like now we know that while scanning an image, the prediction as well as the analysis will be more precise when coming to the AI algorithms. So what is the scope in the medical area in the coming years?
Yeah, so medical imaging has been, I think if you look at detecting things early, when it comes to human, there is a human error element that we can miss certain things, and it's nobody's fault. It's just an accident that happens, but that accident can affect somebody's health, future health, um, worse, right, or bad. So then you want to make sure that, hey, if we can automate that system, we can reduce that human error, right? And that's where, if you look at MRI images, or any sort of imaging that is used in the medical field today, CT scans and stuff, they can automatically detect, and now they can say, assist the doctor and say, hey, can you look at this? What do you think of it? So that is where the human element still has to say, because the machine can't say, oh, that is bad, this is bad. There is some information that we can't yet tell the machine, unless it's again, apples and oranges sort of a differentiator, to say, hey, maybe that's a cause of concern, we have to study it further. It can automatically assist the doctor and say, hey, can you look in this area? I detected something that was not present based on all the MRIs I've seen in the past of normal human beings. And that can help in medical imaging. And then the other part is with all the, like, I work in the medical imaging field right now with smartwatches and whatnot. There is always that advantage that, hey, if I can use that for my benefit, to say, how do I detect somebody's heart rate is going up? Like all these smartwatches today have a heart rate detector. Can I detect that, right? When I like today, a lot of us use our smartwatches for workouts. So we know how much workout are we doing on a daily basis, how many steps are we walking. That is because we are all sitting in front of a computer pretty much 10-12 hours a day, so we are not getting enough workout like our previous generation did. So we are all, our health is taking a hit because of that. So all that we can use it to get better information, although it's not per se medical imaging as such, depending on what technology goes behind the scene to get it, but we can still use that information for a healthier living, right? So that there are multiple avenues for medical imaging as such, or in medical devices, but some of the consumer side of it is what I'm working on at this point in my career.
We are always talking regarding the medical area or the automated car, like driverless vehicles, then all the other area. But what about the creativity side, or the arts, or the sports, or the cultural side? What will be the role of AI? It will be having any applications in that area where humans
Yeah,
have a dominant. Yeah,
no, definitely. I think the creativity side also, I'm trying to think of it. I remember seeing videos of where, like, I remember seeing I think British Got Talent or something like that TV show, where there was a person who was singing a song, but on the video they were casting, they had transformed that person. That's just one application. Again, it's like video processing, image vision. But in the creativity side of things, today people can mix music, and AI can also automatically mix certain music based on its own thinking, right? Where it says, hey, why don't I mix it in random fashion and see how it sounds? And some of them actually sound pretty good. So will it replace humans? Again, that's always the ask in every industry, right? Can we all be redundant? I don't think anyone has a solid answer yet, but I think at this point, at least, AI is an assistant for humans. So we can use it to clean sounds. Like if you have background sound, like noise canceling headphones, a lot of them use AI to actually cancel the noise because it can see that there is a pattern. So what it would do is it'll look at all the sound that it has captured and look at beyond a certain threshold. That is what they call noise, and they'll cancel all that out. That's helping us, right? When we are talking, Zoom has a lot of stuff in there which helps cancel noise, background noise. So I could have 15 different things around, but it picks on my sound alone. And when we are recording those video, it's actually making sure it's of the highest quality by removing that background noise, right? So I went on a tangent there with respect to how sound is and whatnot, but I think creativity side, purely, I don't think it's going to replace us, but it's going to be a great assistant in terms of noise canceling and reducing the noise and everything. I think there's a lot of value that people are already leveraging in today's technology.
Then coming into the medical side, this is due to curiosity, and I was also thinking about this research domain. Now we are having some patients with autism or with mentally struggling problems, like they are not able to recognize. So whether AI could help in such situation, like in order to tune their brain to identify the images or better understanding or getting more clarity over the things around them for a better observation.
Absolutely. I mean, somebody who has vision problems, right? For example, they can, there can be an automated system that can help with giving them a voice note to say that, hey, this is what is ahead of you, or something like that, right? Before they had to recognize the shape of it. Why not have AI do that work for it? Because AI can be trained to see the things that maybe a person who's blind can't see or has visual issues, right? Because what is today's product like? If Apple's all these smart devices that are coming, which gives you 3D view of things around you, why can't we paint that picture through voice, through a sound for somebody, right? And that is where there is a lot of application. And again, it's I don't think the market is too big for companies, at least consumer electronic companies, to invest so much money into doing research like that. But I think if there was a bigger market and there was a demand for it, I'm quite sure there is enough technology that we have available that we can leverage it. But
Because
the
the
challenge,
waveforms generated in the brain can be
yeah,
related. So what is the pattern of my thinking and my creative side or my analytical skills or my numerical skills, it can be addressed with some algorithms, and the same pattern can be analyzed, and so my learning efficiency will be developed. So in the educational field also, like special schools we are having,
yeah,
there's a research scope for this area, right?
yeah, absolutely. And the only thing about it is now we are trying to manipulate human brain, and that again is a very touchy topic, because you don't want to start getting into modifying humans or thinking, right? My thought process was more in assisting them in terms of uh, you know bridging that gap. So I gave you that example of a blind person. Now you're being their eyes, right? If somebody is not able to hear, being their ears in a different way, like giving them a visual description of what they are listening to, which they can't hear, but they can perceive certain things, maybe, right? That is something that, again, I don't think there's enough research done. This is all my guess in terms of how AI can support us, or support this industry. But I think there's a lot of value. But then the moment, like what you're talking about, training somebody's brain of things and working with it, I think it needs more research before we start getting involved in it, because it can get bad, or be used in the wrong way, which, like we have seen in movies, right? In the days, how a person was changed and transformed to think in a different way than he or she was before. I don't know if we want to get into that world and that's when people say about AI taking over the world and how, but I think there is still a human who will have to control it at the end of the day.
Yes, so as in the beginning of this discussion we were talking about AI that is already, it was existing. then we go to the terminology like AI. So in future, more precise or some other classification of AI, is it a possible, like whether its possibility is there, some other thing within the AI?
Well, I think AI term is very loosely used in the sense like computer vision, machine learning, deep learning. There is so many different aspects to it. Like deep learning didn't, I think when I started working in 2012 is when we started having the computation to actually do deep learning, right? Because we couldn't handle, like our machines couldn't handle uh, deep networks, neural networks, right? Which is what is deep learning all about, is multiple layer neural networks. It couldn't handle that level of computation because it'll run out of memory, right? So that deep learning even concept, although people knew mathematically there could be a more complicated model that can do better with image recognition or any recognition for that matter, they were not just able to implement it because the hardware had to catch up. And once the hardware caught up, then guess what? People started putting more complicated models. Even today, I'm quite sure there are models out there that people can make by combining things that are so heavy that normal computers, normal GPUs can't handle it. So that's when you need multiple GPUs to, like for me, I run most of my models on two GPUs at the same time. Why? Because one GPU runs out of memory based on the data I have. And the more data you give it, the better any algorithm performs, right? So will there be new terms or new terminologies that will come? I think the application will determine what terminologies come in, right? I mean, today with autonomous cars, there is involvement, but it's all an application of AI. It'll always be a subset of AI, right? I don't think there is going to be a different term to AI or something that is a superset of AI. I don't think so. I think it'll always be a subset of AI. It'll be all coming under the broad term of AI, and then evolve around the application that it's trying to solve.
Because we are having the electronics and communication, the mechanical, the civil, and a lot of different basic branches like electrical, mechanical, civil, and other allied branches are coming in terms of
Yeah,
biotechnology, cyber security. A lot of branches are coming, but ultimately now everything is a combination. Like
yeah,
as you have mentioned, in the case of a smartwatch, electronics is there, a memory is there, then
yeah.
something is there. So it's like a combination of everything, and we are going for the smart buildings, the smart parking, the robo parking, robotic
Mhm.
surgery. So everything, it's like a combination of many things coming. So what will
Right.
be, we can't avoid a particular thing. Like exactly now we are going for everything to be automated. The
Hmm.
semi-automated version is going to end.
Hmm. Right.
So what do you think in the future, the scope of the base core branches like mechanical, whether there will be a transformation over for the civil, mechanical, electrical, we are going for the grid changing to other renewable energies, and like electric vehicles are coming. So what do you think in
Yeah.
that domain?
Yeah. So in those terms, every country, I think France announced it by 2030 they want all electric cars. And I know India is also evolving to a point where they want electric cars. They have a restriction on if it's a 10-year-old gas car, then they won't allow you to renew. You have to sell it and things like that, right? So everyone's leaning towards going into electric cars. So in that terms, gas engines are probably going to be restricted to certain areas. It's not going to be in every area, right? Our normal cars are probably in the future, in 10, 15 years, are not going to be gas. It's probably going to be more electric, right? So does that mean mechanical engineering or core engineering will go away? I doubt that, because we still need smart people to design systems that are mechanical engineering. Like I can go design a mechanical engineering. I can assist to automate certain parts of it. If a mechanical engineer tells me, hey, these are the tasks, how can we automate, I can help. Or he or she who's a mechanical engineer expert can go learn computer science to a certain extent, so he or she can communicate better with somebody like me who's only got a computer science background, right? So I think over the last decade, that I've been here in the US, what I've seen evolve is that core, like what you said, core engineering is kind of overlapping. There is the common element of software and AI. As over the last 3-4 years, AI has come into every industry. Everyone, no matter what PhD they are doing, chemical engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, industrial engineering, they're all doing something AI. And one point that I missed before in terms of AI, data science is a big area in AI as well, right? Where it's not image, it's all kinds of data and analyzing the data and and there is so much data today. It's not about no more about not having data. It's about having too much data, and finding out what is relevant data that is going to help us is a bigger challenge that all of us have, and that is what is going to be in every industry. And in the mechanical engineering side, if there is a lot of data, guess who knows how to use that data? The mechanical engineer. Computer engineer can't say this is good, this is bad, unless there is already predefined laws. Some mechanical engineer has went and said that, okay, this is good, this is bad, and labeled it. Then I can automate that. But if it's not labeled, then I can go automate it. Like in medical imaging right now, I am automating a lot of things, but I need somebody who's a medical science expert to come and tell me that, hey, this is good, this is bad, based on the biology, based on the physiology of a human body. And then I can automate it using my AI knowledge and skills to be able to do it. Or he or she, if they are good at AI, they can do it themselves.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Rathin, for sharing your valuable time for this forum. And I'm also so happy to meet you after a long time, like
Yeah.
nearly 15 or 20 years back.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's the
It's
impact of AI. You are looking the same like that, whether there is an application like that.
I don't. I think I've evolved. I've put on a little bit of weight, but I'm trying to cut down and look the same as I was. I would ideally like to go back to my high school days if I can. But definitely over the last 15 years since we've spoken, I think, yeah, there has been a change. Physical change, I'm not too sure, but definitely has changed a lot.
So nice connecting with you. I hope that in future, like any collaborative projects, like academic level or industrial level, is possible. Like students can have a better, like globally acclaimed projects where they can get a better exposure on the different
Mhm.
domains. So we can think
Yeah.
of it. So thank you for spending your valuable time and wish you a great day and great
Yeah.
success in future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Thank you.